Hello, everybody. You know what time it is. I know what time it is. That's right. It's time for Syntext Live. I hope you guys are doing good. I'm doing okay today. It's been really busy over here, and it is what it is. It's just been one of those days. So let's get into it. Let's pop a top. We're going to burn the next 15 seconds so that people can get past all those commercials that YouTube does not pay me for as I drop some shit over here. And I'm going to start drinking to the health of all you, as you can read now, bad motherfuckers. So I got my notes. I got my audience. So let's get everything started. If my soundboard will finally work. I just had it working. I don't know what's wrong with the damn thing, but once it kicks in here in a few seconds, then hopefully we'll be able to get rocking and rolling. I don't know if you can hear it. My computer's actually winding up right now for some reason. And
Reactor online, sensors online, weapons online, all systems nominal.
All right, so let's go. First off, thank you everybody for being here. Thank you for spending your time with me, and thank you for watching my stuff. As far as the stories go, I hope you've been enjoying them. And we're going to go over the past weeks, just like we always do every single week. First things first, during this week, got the last episode of Garbage Planet. And I didn't see too many people in the comment section talking about the symbol that was literally drawn on the face of the planets. Apparently that joke didn't land very well. One being the actual, smiley face, the circle with the two eyes and the smile, and the other one being a colon capital D, this thing. So, I guess that joke didn't land. I thought maybe it was too much build up. I don't know. Maybe it needed visuals. I didn't have any visuals to actually put on there. It is what it is. And by the way, the comment that, and you know what? I swear to God, this soundboard is not working. Why is it? What do you guys do to my soundboard? And I can hear it winding up again. What the hell is going on? This thing's supposed to work right away. I don't know what. It was working for a couple of weeks.
Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Actually, something is right. Because I see the MTF guard here saying, he has risen, Chucklefucks. Hope you had a good week, Sin. And what did you think of the video if it actually sent? Unfortunately, I did not see the video. I honestly, at about maybe 5 minutes ago, I was about to dive into all my emails. And don't resend it. Let me go through everything and make sure. But I can't do that until afterwards. Let's see. Let me write down here. So, but I do have to ask you this, guard. Did you like your little icon or picture I put on for you? For those that don't know, it was a 40K reference, but they had a cat in the armor. I thought that was just going to be funny. Oh, but I also, hold on. What else do I see over here? Yes, I see another super chat, or I should say super chat, from Douglas Scarborough. Let me write this down. Douglas Scarborough. You have a long name to write down. That's a... And he says, did you get my email about using human ships like subs for commerce raiding in a war to mess up a military machine? Yes, I did, actually. And here's the fun thing. I already did that. It was one of my older stories, and I'm trying to remember exactly what it is. If you go into all the videos I've done, when it comes to like early on, you'll actually see one that actually has old German U-boats in there. That I was like, yep, boom. It's pretty much what it was all about. So I did see that. Oh yeah, thanks. My last name is Polish. Ooh, Doug, you're killing me here. So anyway, thank you, guard. Thank you, Douglas. I appreciate it very much. You guys definitely started things off with a. Okay, I'm hating this freaking thing right now. It's not going off when I need it to. I swear to God, there's like an 8-second delay. I don't have the delay built into this. I mean, it's right here. It's not supposed to be hold up. I don't know what's going on. Okay, there we go. That even surprised me. It's a shot in the dark, people. Anyway, somebody wanted to know if there was going to be a sequel to Garbage Planet. Maybe. I did leave it open just in case. However, I do not have plans for it at this point. You got to remember that starting this month is all one shots, okay? These are, I call them shorts. That's what I got them labeled on when I go into my files and it shows everything. But, and by the way, I'll go into why there's no visuals when I say that. But I got to keep everybody happy. And some people like the series, some people like the one-offs. So like I do back and forth once a month. And yes, I do have all the recommendations you guys had before, you know, about the whole Medal of Honor thing, which is going to be coming soon. You know, human genetics in exchange for old tech, which, come on, it's basically what's going on now. You know, all that along with the cadences and everything else. Yes, those are coming. However, this right here is as far as I got on the new story. Literally one paragraph in. I've been so busy today. This is as far as I got. I literally haven't been able to hold still except the last like 30 minutes before the stream started. It's just been nuts. So it is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. But I will do what I can about sequels later. And before I do anything else, I look there and I see something is surprising me because we got another $5 super chat from someone who is so outrageous, so crazy outrageous that she shines like a diamond. It's Erica Gem. She says, thank you, and I hope you and your family is doing well. So far, they are. No huge complaints as far as, well, no, I take it back. As far as health-wise, there's always complaints, people. I got plenty of them, but everybody's doing okay at the moment. So I do appreciate that, Erica. I really do. And I hope everybody else is doing good out there, too. I will drink to your health. It's like the only time during the week I drink a soda, so which I eat as healthy as I possibly can. I was actually bringing my dad to Costco earlier. No shit, we stopped for. He loves getting the Costco hot dogs. I had 2 sips of that Pepsi, and I was about ready to vomit. It was just ugh. Anyway, the next one, the very first one for this month that came up as the one shot, the Encounter. I tried to use as many sound effects as I could. I could not find all the ones I wanted. Yes, I did get the list of sound effects that you sent. Thank you. But I haven't been able to go through them and line them up inside this cranium where I want to put them. I do appreciate you sending me stuff. I very much do. Everything's got to get reorganized. I actually have to redo all my visuals too. But it is what it is. Hopefully you guys are... your ribs are killing you, Chris? Oh, did you have bad ribs? You're not choking, are you? Anyway, yeah. With that Encounter, I wanted to use as many sound effects as I could. I got to make sure they fit, folks. If I could use sound effects through the entire thing to help it out, I would. It just has to fit. It's originally one of the which one was it? I think it was in the Encounter where the alarm starts, or the first thing that happens is an alarm. The original alarm I was going to use was too aggressive, far too aggressive for the scene. And I had to run around and get another one. So anyway, the next one that came out, the pack of ... and is actually supposed to be, is it a pack of hounds? Is it a pack of humans? Or is it a pack of both? Hint, hint, wink, wink. As soon as I mention crustaceans, you guys always bring up the same thing. And yes, whoever wrote that story way back, that a few years back, about the whole saving the otter people, or however it was, where crustaceans bust into their space stations and everyone's like, right at the end, all enemies down, who brought the butter? You know, that was a beautiful line. And you guys are right. The comment section was full of it. And the only reason the humans didn't eat the damn crustacean is because it was raw. Pure and simple, it was raw. They weren't going to eat it raw. Mainly because you don't know what type of parasites are in it. And they also heard the hounds, their stomachs were rumbling. So it is what it is. Let's see. Somebody actually brought up the fact that it was a good thing it wasn't Special Forces. Yes, if it was Special Forces, it would have been a much smaller group. A Special Forces A team, at least here in the U.S., is only about 9 people. That's it. That's all. You got 2 teams of 4 and 1 officer. That's it. So yeah, it would have been a lot smaller, and they would have already had their shit primed and ready before anything happened. The whole idea of the draw was the fact that they had lost where in the hell they put their ammo, and only a few people had any ammo. If they started shooting, they would have got overrun. They knew it, but they had good trigger discipline. That was the whole point of that. You guys figured it out, by the way. You figured it out. The fabric cylinders, yes, standard military duffel bags. Every military around the world uses a duffel bag. And yes, when you fly in or out of a deployment, you always have what's known as an A bag or a B bag. And those have your extra stuff in them. In particular, these ones had where most of the ammo was, but they had trouble finding it all. So, yes, you figured it out. Congratulations. And, yep. Let's see. Also, a reminder that the 2 packs, was it pack bonding or a common enemy? Or both? I'm going to go with both. It is what it is, because as soon as everybody realized that maybe, just maybe, they had just pissed off 2 separate packs.
It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
Yep. And when you're getting hit from 2 different sides because you pissed everybody off, then you're pretty much doing the whole, where the hell's the button? Where is it? I don't have the button. God damn it. Oh, it didn't want to work. Son of a bitch. What is wrong with this thing? It just worked, and now it doesn't want to work. It'll show up in a second. Probably at the worst time. All right, on the episode, yeah, now it goes off. Anyway, switching to the story, the market, as in the market has everything. A lot of people were wanting a part 2. It was not originally designed for a part 2. Reason being is because at the end, there was actually a Sin City reference where they were heading back, and he said, they're not going to follow us, not where we're going. The precedence is, in the Soul Sector, humans are extremely territorial. You don't enter or you freaking die. So since he's going to the Soul Sector and he's pushing beyond light speed because light speed too slow. Yes, light speed was too slow. Yes, again, Spaceball reference on that, which I'm surprised didn't end up in the comment section. He knew that whoever it was following is just going to say nope and turn around and take off. Now, there was a little confusion on 2 things that were in there, and I'm going to clean them up real quick. Okay, first off, one person did get it in the comment section where rice is valuable. If it can only be grown on one planet, then that resource becomes extremely valuable because guess what? It is rare. Not fake rarity like they do with diamonds, but actually rare. And that's extremely important. Which means that rice, yes, would be more valuable than gold, but you got to remember, at that point, when you're off in space, gold is pretty much easy to access. It's only good for circuit boards. Just like to me, diamonds are good for 2 places, saw blades and drill bits, and that's it. I can't think of a good place for diamonds to be. Also, there was, as a few guys brought in the comment section and surprisingly deleted their comments shortly after. I'm pretty sure it has to do with the fact that they actually ran this past their girlfriends or their wives or something, where the MC had to show these 2 young slaves how to put human clothes on, and they had to like jiggle into it, and there's a lot of adjustment. trust me, if you've ever seen your girlfriend or your wife put on her friggin' boulder holder, you know that there's always the shift and the lift and the move and the squeeze and all this. I'm sitting there going, what is this Peter Panda dance you're doing? And first time I even asked that, the only thing I got was, that's the only way it fits right. We don't deal with that. But I thought it'd be funny because we do have some females in the audience who would get it. And they get it really quick. All right, the last one that came up was self-surgery. And a few people brought in some really interesting things in the comments section. Somebody, I won't mention who, said, not the first time I've sewn myself up. I've never had to sew myself up. I've always had somebody there to do it. Thankfully, most of the time it only needed like one stitch to stop any other fluid from coming out, and the rest I could just close with super glue. And somebody, again, I won't mention who, talked about Sark sewing them up. And if you move too much, they'd friggin' knock you in the face a few times to make you stop moving. But if you don't know what Sark is, it's the Navy's version of a medic. They're corpsmen, basically. But it's like a special forces. I'm trying to remember. Special. God damn it! It just left my. It's recon. God, I don't know why I skipped my brain, folks. I don't know why. All right, that's pretty much it as far as the comments section. There wasn't a whole lot except for people trying to get their number one in the game. And by the way, feel free to tell everybody else when they're in the game, first one, you get an extra shout out. And if you get really close, and I don't see them here, if they're new to the channel, but they came in came in second or third, they might get a little, you missed it by that much. And if you don't know, that is an old Get Smart thing. That was a satire of Spies way back in the day, but that line just cemented his character because I missed him by that much. Anyway, like I said, that ends the comments. I do have some inquiries and I do have some talking points that we're going to be going over next. First off, there has been some requests for music for the channel. The only reason I haven't actually dove into trying to get music as background music is it's not the best idea to do that when you're doing other sound effects. So if I don't have any sound effects and it's just going to be something like if I go into something scary, I might have a background music a little bit. So if you hear it kind of fading in and just keeps going, then there's not going to be any sound effects, any additional sound effects. At least there shouldn't be. There might, but they would have to be very, 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 as in extremely pronounced, as in, I don't know. Let me see if this is going to work. Like that just jumps out of nowhere. So, yeah. Anyway. Also, I mentioned this last week. I was going to go see the movie Warfare with my dad. It's not playing anymore. If you guys want to see it, apparently it was only out for like a week, which I think is bullshit. I want to actually see that. Of course, everybody's wondering, can you sit and watch those? Yes, I can. So that sort of stuff has never bothered me. I go through the first 20 minutes of Saving Private Ryan going, oh, that's cool. All right. I seen this as a talking point on another channel, and I wanted to address it. Ground vehicles in sci-fi, which ones are best? There is no one answer. If you are going to make your own sci-fi universe, you can actually switch from track to repulsor to walking to whatever the hell you want to do. Hovercraft, for crying out loud. You can do any and all of it if you so choose. However, make sure it fits the technology and the requirements of the story. You guys notice there's sometimes I'll be talking about like the some sort of accelerator cannons, and suddenly, hey, nobody has energy projectors worth of dog shit. So it specifically trying to fit into a certain storyline. It is what it is. So as far as ground vehicles go, I'm sure somebody's going to do a whole breakdown. Now, I will say this. 4-wheel drive for most areas is still going to be one of your best. The only thing that's going to beat that is the mobility of 2-wheel vehicles. That's when it comes to ground-based vehicles, that is the number one. If you can get them to run silent, they're fucking awesome for that. Me personally, I'm not a dirt bike rider. I'm not a dirt bike fan. Most people I've dealt with who ride dirt bikes have been turbo assholes, which is unfortunate because it looks fun as all fuck. And I met a few that were okay. They're nice folks when you sit and talk to them, but then you realize that they crossed over someone's private property just to drive. No. Anyway, as far as ground vehicles go, it really, when you say the best, that is not the question. Which one is the best for this situation? If you're in heavy combat, you don't want to be in a thin-skinned piece of shit that doesn't move very far. You want to be in something with heavy armor that's going to shoot back. You know, something that's going to sit there and rattle off a whole bunch of rounds and just scare the living bejesus out of everybody as it lays down a whole bunch of cover fire all over the place. Gee, I wonder what type of cannons could possibly do that. I don't know, but I have a feeling we're about to find out as my computer winds up, which is driving me crazy. I hit the buttons. Yeah, the 25 mic in the Bradley is going to be really nasty. Of course, you could just get behind the machine. Yeah, get some, put some down. Anyway, but that's the thing. When it comes to your ground vehicles, make sure you use the ones that work best for your situation. Okay, on to the next point, and I'm going to bring this over again. The Worst of Us, Part 2. Where do I begin with this piece of shit? You guys heard me rant about this last week at how horrible it is. You would think they learned from their mistakes, but no. They sound like a cow. No. Do you want to learn anything? No. They just want to repeat the same mistakes over and over and over again. And it's got so bad that these people cannot take a simple criticism that I don't know if you guys seen, but the Critical Drinker who came on the stage less than a year ago has made a massive splash. He got friggin' the channel got, I think, fully demonetized because they said copyright infringement. He followed all the fucking rules. He just told everybody the truth. It sucks. It sucks because the now all basically teenage and 20-year-old female cast are not strong enough actors to carry the series. Maybe if they got one or two people that are a little older, like I don't think the like say if we did Mandalorian, if they just had the younglings, you know, the children running around and the story was following them, I don't think they could find a child actor strong enough. If they had, say, the forge working, whatever the hell her job is, taking over and actually leading them, I think her character would do an exceptional job because she just seems like that good of a character. The actors, they got work to do, and they're going uphill with 50,000 pounds on their back. I don't think they're going to make it. So we'll see how it goes. I just think demonetizing somebody's channel because they talk bad about you, cry me a river, build a bridge, get over yourself, and drive the fuck on away from me. Okay, here's one that everybody I'm sure heard about. The Thunderbolts that came out. Yikes. Okay, they have got absolutely nothing to freaking stand on. The reviews are saying the same thing. It sucks moose nuggets. And since they want to sit there and play themselves over and over again, you know, you just want to seriously work, you piece of shit. Not you guys. My soundboard. It seems like every time I punch a button, it takes like 10 seconds for it to actually kick in. Again, I can hear my computer spinning up. It shouldn't have to do that. It worked up before. but it's pretty soon going to say what Marvel was doing, and just want to smack them real hard for doing the same thing over and over and over and over again for no reason. Why? You know this doesn't work.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
There you go. I mean, it is what it is. And you know how bad they played themselves? They played themselves so bad that they're getting their ass kicked by a 20-year-old movie called Revenge of the Sith. How in the fuck is a Star Wars prequel movie kicking everybody's ass in the box office? Oh, my head hurts. My head hurts. Oh, man. It defies everything except for one simple fact. All the stuff coming out now, with few exceptions, suck. They suck so bad. It makes me just want to sit there and them out of the freaking theater and just put something else in. These movies that they're making for like $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, like Saw was made on a shoestring budget. It made millions and millions of dollars, turned into a freaking franchise. Granted, the franchise fucking sucked, but the first movie was pretty good up until the very end, and then you realize the guy was asleep underwater. Riddle me that one, Batman. But still, Revenge of the Sith wasn't all that good. It wasn't even digitally remastered. But, I mean, it is what it is. All right. Now, before I finish up, the last part of my notes, I need you guys' help on this one because I want to inquire to you guys, since I'm doing one-offs this month, would you like some fantasy-based one-offs? Okay, if you do, these are going to be fairly long because the setup is going to be a bit difficult. So we're looking at probably 30 to 40 minute videos at minimum. You're talking probably 10 to 15 pages of notes just to do one. So if you guys are willing to do those, or if you want them, I'll do them. However, I will say this. They Call Us Monsters is a series. It will not be a one-off. Any of those, the Isekai, which, by the way, there's another one brewing in here. It's been brewing in for a long time, but it is seriously dark. It starts off real nice, but it seriously goes down a dark path. So maybe next month I'll hit that one, but I've got other series that got to get done. So before I jump in the comment sections, I do have to say this. It might be another day or two before even this one gets finished. Reason being is we've had shit weather around here. And just like you can see behind me where the sun finally came out, tomorrow's supposed to be dry. I need to do the entire garden tomorrow. And we're talking about anywhere from 6 to 12 hours worth of work just to get the garden in. If you've done garden, or gardens at all, you know how much work they are. So keep that in mind. So anyway, let me go into the comment section here. Going up past Erica, Doug's, MTF Guard, everybody who sent in already. And let's see. Doug was saying, how you doing? I'm doing okay. Can't have too many bad complaints. You have too many bad complaints and you're in trouble. Heard the PC. Yeah. Like I said, Ernest, I've got sound effects. I have not swapped them over yet. So yes. Guard saying, yeah, I forgot I sent that stuff on the Discord. Yeah, I'm terrible. I'm sorry about that, guys. I'm terrible with that. And seriously.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Or something is. Because we got a $20 super chat from Brian Kemp. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Let me write you down here so you get your stuff. By the way, I'm looking into something besides the Terminator and Fonzie, but honestly, the only thing that keeps coming up is Easy Rider, and I wouldn't insult you like that. That movie is actually extremely insulting. But he says, depends on the fantasy. It would not be adult fantasy. I'm going to tell you that straight out. I don't do that anymore. I used to do commissioned work on that. It bored the hell out of me, and then it disgusted me so bad, I just stopped doing it. It pays all right, but honestly, I don't. With everything else, I do not have the time. With all the irons in the fire, and I'm trying to work on my other channel, and I've been trying to look up all the stuff to try and get that whole Syntax Warzone started, which I think I might have figured something out, but I'm not sure. I got to go back in the game and start tweaking a whole bunch of stuff. I just don't have it. Plus, I got all the stuff around here. I got wood to cut. I got freaking gardens to plant. I got to take care of the new chickens. Too many things. So I'm not doing any commissioned work. And but depending on fantasy. Now, I do have a question on this. If there's fantasy, do you want dark or lighthearted? Okay. If you want some seriously dark shit, I can do seriously dark shit. Speaking of some dark shit, I see an SS Demon with another $20 super chat. And he says, speaking of far off, how's the drone fleet, Sin? I am just messing with you, man. Life has been crazy busy. I'll email you the stuff I said I would one day. Every time I think I'll have time, something else shows up and stops me. You are preaching to the choir, my friend. Holy fuck, you are preaching to the choir. My entire day was taken up basically from about 8. No, I'm sorry. I woke up at 4:30 this morning. I didn't even get a full workout in at all. It's like, you know what? I'm not sitting around waiting for a machine that I need because this arm is still all fucked up. And I can't actually do pull-ups correctly now. Not until it fully heals over, or else I risk damaging it again. But whatever. As soon as I got back in, I ate and everything got kicked off, and that's when I started writing. The problem is this little bit I got over here is actually a second draft. The first one sounded like shit, and I'm not giving you guys shit. Okay, if I want to treat you like a mushroom, I'd get into politics, keep you in the dark and feed you bullshit. Okay, I don't do that. But yes, if you want a darker fantasy or a lighthearted fantasy, you guys got to let me know because I can do either one. And like I said, I've had some darker stuff going on in the head. Not that I'm going to do anything, evil or evil right now. But thank you again, guys. I appreciate it. Brian Demon. Let's see. Let me go in here. Let's see. Guard says, that cat had me chuckling for a few minutes. I hope so. I had realized I had that in another whole section of pictures, which I need to go and reorganize my pictures now. They're getting too jumbled. I need to straighten them up. But I thought you would get a kick out of that. I thought everybody would get a kick out of that. Honestly, I thought somebody was going to come in here and offer you, what do they call that? Fancy feast or something? Let's see. Doe says, I remember a guy from the Army that had the last name that was 21 letters. They just called him Skeet. Most people do. When I was in Hawaii, somebody yelled ski post, and like 12 guys jumped out of battalion formation and bolted towards the front. And as they're running up, they're like, no, just this one. Everybody had to turn around and go back. Everyone was chuckling, yada, yada, yada. Okay. I'm not sure what you're doing standing in the barrel of a gun there, War Sniper. What's going on? Short bus for, I don't know where you guys are going. You guys going back and forth. I must have missed a part. Anyway, Erica says, War Sniper, my sister's cat brought a robin and a blackbird into the house, and I had to clean stuff up. The birds were alive, just missing feathers. Sound a lot like my chickens. we got a bully chicken who, if I get my hands on her, she's going over the fence. She ain't coming back in. Critters can have her. Anyway, yeah, that's kind of what they do. Did your sister's cat have kittens? Because they usually do that not to play with it, but to teach the kittens. So, I don't know. Just a thought. Sometimes they do it just to play with them, and I think that's sadistic. But cats are halfway down towards hell anyway. Let's see. War Sniper says that reminds me of back in my childhood. One of our cats bringing a bird in, and we held it in the garage to heal it and hold the cat away on the end so it could fly again, and then let it go. Yeah. Now that reminds me of when I was living at my dad's place when he was in New York, and a hummingbird got in the house. Female hummingbird, because it didn't have the red stripe or red patch on the throat. And she went up to the skylight, and she couldn't understand that the skylight was not a way out. No matter what, we couldn't shoo her away. Couldn't get her to come down low enough to go out the door. So I had to actually get up on a ladder, climb up in there, tried to use a fish net. That didn't work. She went right through. So I actually had to cup around with my hands. And I don't know if you guys ever held a hummingbird, but they're so light. I thought if I friggin' farted, I would make this thing poof, And I had to carry her down real slow. And I got outside. I opened my hands up like freaking Jesus, and off that sucker went after about a half a second of what the hell's going on. I'm just glad she didn't get so scared she shit on my hand. That would have been bad. Guard says, so there's some cool pics and there's memes. That's a good week's worth of stuff to choose from. I'm going to have to make, just like with a certain person who is so outrageous, she sent me stuff for herself. I had to make a whole new file for her, and I'll make one for you there, Guard, if that's what it takes. It's literally in right there with all the rest of them. So let's see. Yes, Leonid, they went to plaid. I was waiting for that in the comments section, but nobody did put that in. And actually, that phrase got one of the more interesting stories I did early on. And I got a lot of credit for this because I was the first one to really coin the phrase patchwork species, as in there's no central government. There's just this eclectic mix all the way around that you can't figure out. And I found out that a few other creators were starting to use the same phrase. So yes, you can actually find that. No kidding. There's Lone Star and Barf, and they're sitting there going, it's literally that scene where they go, they went to plaid, and it actually says patchwork species on it. Okay, Ellen says, here's a thought. Oh, before I even continue that thought, I do have to say this. Starting next week, if I can get it to work, I'm going to start using StreamYards and link that up to YouTube. Right now, I'm just using YouTube. The problem with this is not the soundboard per se, or only the soundboard. I would like to throw up some visuals as well. I cannot do that using just YouTube. It doesn't work. So I'm going to try and get some more visuals, get them lined up so I can just throw them up there. So, every time I say, but, I can actually put one up on the screen. Don't worry, Erica, I'll have ones for you to enjoy as well. And yeah, we'll do this. We'll do this. But again, I got to get through tomorrow, which is going to be busy. Friday is going to be an absolute freaking mess. And we're actually expecting gale force winds around here and possibly losing electricity, which will definitely slow me down. So we'll see how it goes. Hold on, let me wet my whistle here. Ellen has a thought. And subscriber in random on okay. And subscriber in random on one who was not ever met. Okay. Erica says she prefers corsets to brasiers. Okay. I don't know much about those. All I know is when I had a girlfriend who tried to pull me into Victoria's Secret so she could show off, I knew what she wanted. She wanted us to get in trouble in the friggin' changing room. And I'm just like, nope, I'm going to stay out here. I'm going to screw around on the phone. And you come out in an hour when you're. And yeah, it was a good thing I did that because security run past us and actually go in and drag a few people out who were getting a little happy-go-lucky inside the friggin' changing rooms. I'm like, guys, don't do that. Not in something so obvious. Use a different changing room. And I'm sure they were sitting there trying to tell the cops to, chill out and stuff like that. For some reason, this thing is not working again, so we'll see how it goes. Because I just had one, would have worked really good, but unfortunately, nothing. There you go. It was just delayed. Okay. And yes, Alan, that is interesting. I'm sure there's a reason. Ladies have a reason for all the different stuff that they prefer on that. And I mean, I've had a girlfriend who said if she wore anything wider on the backside than something that was basically dental floss, she said it was uncomfortable. And I'm sitting there going, okay, snap. Why'd you do that? Because it's sticking out of your pants. Now put a longer shirt on. She thought I was being funny. I said, no. And then I took my flannel off and actually put it around her. I was like, the other guys don't need to see that. You want your freaking undies to stick out? I'll give you a wedgie. She thought I was joking until I grabbed a hold of that sucker and lifted. Didn't lift hard enough to tear it. Those things are surprisingly well made, but she almost came off the ground a little. We did not date much longer after that, by the way, but whatever. Let's see. Worst number says, I tried to stay a gentleman, but damn, this is triggering me, Erica. Just be careful. She might end up sending me a picture with a kitsune and a corset. Hint, hint. Anyway, Demon says, as long as it's not tied to the point, you can't breathe. Yeah, that's what I keep hearing. Now, from what I understand, they're a little more elastic nowadays. I am in no way, shape, or form a expert on this crap. To me, all I know is, guys, take this to heart. If she's wearing lace, she is wearing it for you. I'm going to say that one again. If she's wearing lace, she's wearing it exclusively for you, because apparently lace rubs in ways we don't want it to rub. So, yeah, it's just take that as, even if it doesn't match, I don't care if it looks ridiculous. Appreciate the effort. But as far as the corsets, I'm pretty sure they're better than they were in the 1700s, or actually the 700s, but that's a whole nother conversation. Let's see. Lena says, I listened to the Anakin's lecture on Dark Plagueis' School of Thought. That was a funny video. I haven't seen it. I can't weigh in on something I don't know. Oh yeah, don't forget to hit the likes, guys. I appreciate it. Anyway, Chris says, oh, I'm requesting Rick. Oh, yeah. He wants to be Rick rolled. Never gonna give you up. Yeah. The thing is, Chris, I don't think you were in. It was either last week or the week before we went over this, and there was pretty much a universal, please don't do that. Then again, I might. Let's see. Alina says ground vehicles need to walk on 4 legs. Really? Then what about the original Clone Wars one that had 6 legs? And magnetic and clamper feet and all this other fancy doodad shit. As far, again, ground vehicles, it just depends on what you need it for. If you wanted to scare the piss out of somebody with just this really tall mechanical camel with giant friggin' blaster cannons on its face, then yeah, go with one of those Star Wars AT-ATs. If you need something that walks on 2 legs that has enough firepower to end a continent and is as powerful as possible, as impenetrable as possible and as ugly and foreboding as possible so that fear itself can be your ally, then grab yourself an Atlas battle mech and go nuts. But if you're just doing recon, those things ain't going to do very well. Not to mention, most walking vehicles, if you use any type of sonic vibration recorder, you can actually find them out very, very quickly, a hell of a lot faster than you can with even a tracked vehicle. This has been proven time and time again. Just because you have so much weight actually impacting on the ground, this is why in a lot of science fiction, they hesitate to use giant walkers unless it is a blitzkrieg style battle like wow, why can't I speak today? Like Clan Jade Falcon is landing because they love blitzkrieg. They will hot drop right in your face. They will literally teabag you with their mechs if they can. That's what they love to do. And yeah, I'm sorry, but the death from above way of doing things only works with about 3 mechs. One that actually coined it, which was the Highlander, but it pretty much, even in the story, the author knew that this was going to overstress everything, and it almost broke the mech right there. The stress on the legs was almost too much. So, but it is what it is. You're right. It'd be nice if the ground vehicles could walk and they could traverse terrain that most tracked and wheel vehicles can't, because then they could just step over obstacles. A lot of people don't realize this, but a ditch 2 feet wide and 2 feet deep will stop almost every single wheeled vehicle in existence, except for specialized vehicles. Okay. I'm trying to remember exactly what it's called, but the Russians have one for Arctic. The tires are so huge on this thing that they dwarf the entire vehicle. It's just crazy. But regardless of that, yeah, all your Humvees, you know, even your dirt bikes and stuff would hit that and just kick the driver or the rider over. And they're effective. A simple trench. For tanks, you need something about 8 feet wide and at least 4 feet deep to even start to block them. But can it be done? Yes, with a trench. What's a trench going to do to a mech or a four-legged walker? Nothing. They're going to reach over. They're going to slow down so they can go over it, but they're just going to traverse over top of it. Probably have to get everybody out the back and just have the driver do the legs stretch all the way so it can get a grip and then keep going. Then everybody can cross and join back up again. It'll slow you down, but it ain't going to stop you. Okay. Alan says, look at Russia's trouble with 2 wheels. Yeah. They had a lot of trouble because they did not maintain their fucking equipment. They literally sat it for 20 years and said, oh, it'll be fine. It'll start right back up. Sure it will, asshole. Most people sold the tanks or used the parts put in a blast furnace to make ingots so they could sell. Let's see. War Sniper says, Railgun tank, Halo Reach. My favorite next to the Grizzly tank. Scorpion tank with 2 barrels. Yeah, the only problem with 2 barrels is you have to have 2 separate sights for it. That's something they don't actually go over because you can, at that range that they're firing, a lot of times you have one optic in the center, your shot will drift just far enough where you'll miss your target. So that you're wasting rounds at that point. We not only did the Russians, but the Germans, also the Americans, we all checked dual barrel, and it just didn't work. The only time it worked was anti-air because you're just trying to fill the air with lead to try and hit something. But yeah, railguns will work very, very well. They go right through without, I mean, they'll probably pierce depleted uranium without much problem. Now, let me see, scroll down here. SS Demon says, I always thought it'd be cool to have a spider tank that can actually walk on walls and like an actual spider, but I'm not sure how possible it is. I only know of one piece of canon that has one that looks exactly like a spider, and that's from Star Wars Legends. And it does look like a spider, even has the bulbous butt that is actually an abdomen. It's just, it was there. It was designed specifically to traverse terrain that nothing else could touch. Even the 6-legged walker they had could not traverse that terrain. It was so rugged. So they built this thing. As far as the 6 legs, AT something or other. And that thing could climb vertically if need be. It was a good piece of equipment. But as far as something that moves like an actual spider, yes, they had that. That's the only one I can think of off the top of my head. Let's see. Erica puts in with Demon, if you're going to go that far, it's not fun. And she's still talking about this. Okay, if you're going to go that far, it's not fun and tight corsetry. Did I get that right? Was done for high fashion looks. Yeah. Back when the whole idea of squeezing the waist in to the point where your fingers not just touch but cross, and still pushing everything up. Yeah, that was wow. That killed people right there, because if you're squeezing the abdomen that much, you're crushing your intestines. I mean, it's just ugh. Then she says, War Sniper, I have a cure for you. It's called a cold shower or an ice bath. That'll work too. But yeah, as far as, what, this isn't really a channel where we go into underwear. I just thought it was an interesting thing that most people don't think about. Let me phrase, most guys don't think about, because it's not something we deal with. Which is why when I did a prepper channel back in the day, I even had an entire show dedicated to, hey, you dumbass, it's not just adult men. You got kids and you got women in there. Have you prepped for them too? And there was a whole bunch of stuff. And unfortunately, one guy responded, dude, that I feel dirty watching this channel. It's like, welcome to fucking life. Well, hopefully life ain't gonna fuck you. Anyways, Lena says, I've seen people redesigning Scorpion tank from Halo so it would be more functional. Yeah, I could see that. See, Demon says, I never understood why they did that. Like the Japanese with the tiny feet shoes thing. You mean foot binding. Let's ruin our bodies because we think it blooms good till we take the clothes off. As far as foot binding, that honestly was meant to do two things. Change the foot so that the angle of the ankle is up higher, which accentuates the butt, because let's face it, most Asian girls don't have much butt to work with, which suits me just fine, by the way. But there was also the idea of a female could not run, i.e. she wouldn't be able to keep up with everything. The foot only done inside cities. The farm work, that was never freaking done, because if the woman couldn't move fast, she couldn't help out with she couldn't get her own work done. And it wasn't just Japanese, it was Chinese too. But yeah, I don't know. I've seen pictures of foot bindings, and the few videos there are, black and white videos of young girls going through that, is actual nightmare fuel. And all I can say is, for what? There's so much things we do to our bodies for no freaking reason. Okay, changing the subject, we got Chris Dixon saying, rather than 2 wheels on an assault vehicle, use a fast Jurassic World bubble car thing, but rigged up with like an Apache with weapons. The only reason that wouldn't work is because the outer shell is constantly moving. It moves in all different directions, not just forward. Okay, now if you segmented it into 2 pieces that can actually spin independent, which means you have pivot points on both ends, then maybe. But as the gyrosphere, as they called it in Jurassic World, it wouldn't work very well. The main problem with these sections is there's going to be a open section in the middle, which means all that dirt from you driving is going to shoot up into the actual sphere itself. And you're going to constantly have to either get dirt off your controls or out of the sphere. And God help you if you hit water, because guess what? You're going to sink. It's a good idea, but does it pass the sniff test? Nope. Not at all. Woo. Let's see. War Sniper says, or better, okay, he's adding on to this, or to the other stuff. Or better, a girlfriend even. I'm not ready on having a girlfriend. Too many goals, too little time, and too many tails to go after. Are we talking, metaphorically or actual fluffy tails? Actually, you know what? I don't think I want to know. And yeah, Erica, it looks good. They've actually tried this. Back in the 50s and 60s, they tried a lot of things, and this was one of them. And one of the things they found was you had to have segmented half spheres. It didn't work. Yeah, you would think it would be like a ball turret. The problem is, ask anybody if they wanted to be in the ball turret. That thing was so cramped. They literally went up to, oh shit. Okay, guys, I got to say, I got a warning that came up that says connection is unstable. Hopefully you guys are still in, because the connection just went kind of weird. Now, we have had strange weather around here. So if the stream drops, I will try to reconnect up to 3 times. If it does not reconnect at that point, I'm just going to end the stream. I learned how to actually get it to go back finally. So just letting you know. And I can actually hear a little bit of thunder outside. We had bright and sun, and now I look out and I just see overcast, dark overcast too. Okay. There's a couple people here talking about the fantasy. Yeah, Alan's not exactly. Oh, fancy. Sorry, I thought I was talking about the fancy. Okay, I misread it. My fault. Let's see. Demon says, fantasy is good. I like that. I know you do, because you're a demon. Just want to know if you guys want the darker or lighter stuff. That's all. I could go on either one. Light meat or dark meat. Anyways, let's see. Ernest says, yeah, that'd be great. Okay, fantasy. Okay, we got a few more. Douglas says, sure, but you need to want to do it as well. I enjoyed doing fantasy. Why do you think I switched over and I kind of shot this entire channel right in the friggin' balls when I did They Call Us Monsters? Even though I watched the subscriber count drop like a rock, I kept going for 30 chapters. And that wasn't even pure fantasy. That was actually science fiction. But it had a fantasy leaning. And let's see here. War Sniper says, do fantasy one-offs. You have already Erica, her character, and my character going after each other. Dude, your character already has, 4 wives already? How much tail do you need? Okay, never mind. It's a want question. Okay, Erica, yeah. What kind of riddle do you want there, guard? Okay, apparently there was messages in there. Both are retracted, so I can't read them. Okay, he comes down here. Autocorrect, ruin the whole damn joke. You know what? It's already ruined. Not even going to try to fix it. Okay. Yeah, I've done that. I've been like 90% the way through a joke and I've friggin' killed it. So I think we've all been there. Let's see. Alan says, your time is important and we are blessed with you, the work you get it. Hey, I'm blessed that you guys are here. You have any idea how hard it is to get any subscribers in anybody watching a live stream nowadays because there's so many to choose from. It's nuts. It is absolutely insane. And not to mention, you've got all this AI bullshit going around that it's crazy. You guys have no idea how much I appreciate you even listening to my work and giving me actual critiques. I've only gotten better because of you guys. I can't get better without you. I've had people fix my verbiage. I've had people adjust my science facts, which when I looked up, I'm like, wait a minute, this article told me it was this way. Come to find out, you pointed me in the other direction. It was totally debunked. I was like, oh, son of a bitch. Well, I wouldn't have known that. Okay. Do I use some verbiage that's a little off because I've used it so long? Yeah. But only because I've used it for that long. And that's all. You know, it's just, it is what it is. So I can't stress it enough. You guys are the only reason I still do this, even though it's kind of cathartic for me. If I just wanted to get something down on paper, I could sit here and type out my 15 to 20 words a minute and put it out in some sort of book that would take me 2 or 3 years to finish, instead of, you know, just giving you the whole thing in like a month and a half. Let's see. Guard says, it was a joke I saw off YouTube video, but my autocorrect ruined it by changing several of the words. Yeah, it'll do that. And there's the Brian and Demon super chats there. Let's see. Chris saying, a friend is writing a graphic novel about a goddess of love where she's petty and hateful as hell. Sounds about right. She basically goes out of her way to ruin people's lives sadistically. If she gets her comeuppance, then guess what? They're kind of already doing that. But the goddess is actually just an evil guy who feeds off negative emotions. And there's an anime of it right now, which I remember reading the manga a long time ago, never got finished, but it looks like they're staying true to it. They're actually adding some points that were not in the manga, which I think are great. And I just hope that they show more of the blood and guts on there, because this guy is a sadistic son of a bitch, but he just knows which way to aim his sadistic tendencies. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I am the lord, or I'm the evil lord of an intergalactic empire. That's what it's called. Yeah, kind of. Let's just say the Japanese aren't exactly subtle in their freaking titles. War Sniper says, what about a Kitsune constantly teasing a dragon? Erica teasing me like the Kitsune she is. Enemies to lovers or straight up rivals. Well, see, I can kind of work with this a little bit, but the thing is, I wouldn't be able to use the original dragon character. I'd have to change it a lot for what I would end up having to do for that, because you're talking, dude, sometimes, guys, you make your character so OP, they make One Punch Man go, whoa, he's back, man, just a little bit. Let's see. Let's do the first one. Can make a good story. Okay. Ernest saying a mix of light and dark. Yeah, that would be a long story. Like I said, and I'm just going to give you guys the initial one that I said. It starts out kind of cool, but ends up dark. I've mentioned it before, but I don't know if you guys remember. The whole idea was this guy is semi-isekai. His previous life is basically a dream. You know, a lot of parts are not quite there. They're a little hazy, but they slowly, the more he thinks about it, the more of it kind of comes back. That being said, he is partially a summon and partially not. The answer to that is much later on in the story. I don't want to ruin the whole thing because you guys know I don't like spoilers here. But what this guy does, he ends up in a not quite medieval, I would say, edge, right when gunpowder is starting, because they do use flintlocks and matchlocks weapons, but they're extremely crude. They have more chance of actually exploding in your face than actually shooting off because they're still trying to work out the bugs. That being said, they do have magic. And one of the key things is at the age of 5, the age of 10, and the age of 15, which is when you're considered adult in that world because they figure no one's going to live all that long. You go to a summoning circle, and depending on the amount of magic you can actually control and pump into the circle brings the actual ability of powerful familiar for you. So everybody has the capacity of 3 different familiars. That being said, depending on the type of familiar, you can either sell it, you can use it on wherever you're using it. It can be your friend, or if it's powerful enough, the king and all their ilk are going to come and confiscate it. And if they have to kill you in the process, they will. Now, fair warning, this is going to go deeper into the story, but not too deep, maybe about 2 chapters in. His first summon when he is 5 years old is a baby succubus who he ends up raising as his own daughter, basically his daughter/sister. You know, there's a whole big speech in there where he's fighting with his parents because his parents want to sell her because they can get a lot of money from the entertainment sector for a succubus, even though she's an infant at this point. They would hold on to that and they would auction her off when she's about maybe 10, 12 years old, which is disgusting. And as soon as they even mention that, he's like, you'll have to kill me first. And it's actually a line in it. You'll have to kill me first, as he's like holding the kid sideways. And they're like, we can't feed another mouth. He's like, she can have my food. I don't care. Anyway, the second one is what gets him kind of in trouble because at 10, he summons a phoenix, an actual no shit phoenix. But the phoenix is young. It's scared when everybody runs in with blades and stuff trying to force the guy to surrender it over to the proper authority, that the phoenix actually seems to disappear. Nobody knows what's going on, but the phoenix actually goes inside him and becomes part of him. Because of that, he won't tell anybody, but he gets the phoenix's ability. He can use flame and healing, which are actually contradicting. And where everything truly goes to shit is his third and final summon. He summons a full-blown fucking dragon. Now, granted, the dragon is an adolescent. When he summons it, it's just an egg. The egg breaks like within seconds, but he's like, holy flying fuckle knuckles, what the hell? At that point, he literally grabs the dragon, grabs his sister, if you want to call her that, and they bolt. Because he's got to get the hell away, and there's a whole thing, and that's when it starts to turn dark because they are pursued at that point. A dragon is one of, if not the most powerful ones. Okay, and again, it starts lighthearted where he's kind of a good kid. Okay, he's got all this, he's got this, and then it just, that meter goes from light to dark all the way, and believe me, after about halfway, it gets seriously fucking dark. So anyway, that's as far as I'm going to go with that one. But that's what I was saying. The mix of light and dark, there's a one-off for that's going to take me like 2 or 3 days to do. And we're talking a good hour long just to do that. Because those are contradictory. When you do contradictory, they are hard to form. So that's enough of me ranting and bitching and everything like that. I need a drink. Sim, can you make a good story out of that with the enemies to lovers or straight up rivals? Yeah, that's not super hard to do. But as far as the thing is, it's going to take time because that's a lot of commentary. I can't just go through without any talking back and forth. It just doesn't happen. Okay, Demon says he's good with light and dark. Okay, Chris says he was talking about where I got shot at work and broke 6 ribs a couple weeks ago. Yep. I remember saying, ow. Oof. Yeah, those take a while to heal all the way. They do heal, just like my arms healing. I got probably another month before it fully heals over, and it's been 2 months already. I can't put a lot of stress on it, which without feeling a lot of pain, but thankfully the pain dissipates fairly quick. Let's see. Worst Sniper says, didn't saw the Kitsune in the last video. Well, I got to go by what she sent me, man. And guess what? She didn't send me just Kitsunes. She sent me a bunch of redheads, too. So don't be surprised if it takes a while before you see another one. Chris says, what's really messed up is how, and it hurt during little things like sneezing or using the bathroom. Oh my God, both hurt. I would say, yeah, okay. I didn't break my ribs. I fucked up my shoulder, but what really hurt was when I had my hernia surgery. And believe it or not, you can do that just from stepping wrong, which is what happened to me. I had something in my hand, my leg slipped forward, my leg turned, and I felt a strange pop. And maybe 2 weeks later, I'm with the VA doc, like, this ain't right. I think I know what this is, but you need to tell me what this is. And he's like, oh shit, we got to get you in the surgery. I'm like, great. But yeah, sneezing, anything that has to do with flexing that area is going to hurt like hell. Guard says, anybody else notice when Sin is acknowledging my Gmail post, it all went fuzzy and glitched out? So it did glitch out. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Like I said before, we'll play it by ear when it comes to everything, not getting messed up. I would really, really, really hate it if for some reason everything went to hell. That's not a good way to end the night. Yeah, okay. Lena is jumping in on the talk difference between brasiers and corsets. They've gotten both better, I'm sure, but you know what? I can't say too much more because I'm not the one that wears them. Does it look like I need one? I hope not. I need the manzier. You older guys know exactly what I'm talking about on that one. Let's see. Let me scroll down here a little bit. Guard says, it seems that the weather is screwing up the stream because I got random, Sin just starts chat, glitching out stuff like, really? Okay. I don't know what's going on, guys. I have absolutely no control over that at all. War Sniper wants to see a Kitsune as a corset. You want to see a Kitsune in as little as possible, I'm sure. As long as the Kitsune is walking your way. Now, here's the fun thing, War Sniper, is when certain technology is finally released, some women are going to actually alter themselves to have these appendages. Even if it means they got 2 sets of ears instead of just 2 ears. But, having the, go all Wayne's World with the foxy, and, have the tail and everything. And it's going to just be like ambush predators, where, a certain scientist decided she wanted to look like a succubus and look all, fit and also firm and all sorts of feminine and all that shit, tail included. It is what it is. But here's the fun part. You're also going to have a whole bunch of the like VR CGI stuff. Some of this stuff's getting really good. Look at the difference just a few years ago with the new Unreal Engine lately. I mean, that's just freakish. And then I look what used to be state-of-the-art graphics from when I was a kid. Wow. Just wow. The difference is just holy shit. Because when I was a little kid, 8-bit graphics were a thing, Atari and shit like that. And now we have like Squadron 42 with basically full-on fucking movies that look almost real, except for the faces glitching real bad. It's crazy. So you might get your wish a lot sooner than you think. Anyway, Guard says, just casually mentioning that he gave his ex-girlfriend an atomic wedgie. No, not atomic. Not atomic. I did not try to put it over her head. I just kind of yoinked her a little bit. She didn't weigh, but maybe if 100 pounds soaking wet. I wouldn't say 90. She wasn't quite that small, but she was very, very skinny. I mean, skinny like this. I mean, at one point, I did actually grab her around her midsection, and my fingers did touch. I've only known a few other girls skinnier than that, and all of them were in Korea, where they're naturally thin. Let's see. Ernest says, check the settings on the sound box. You might have an 8 seconds delay enabled. I don't think so, because all I do is I hit the off once or twice, and then I get things like swing. There was no delay on that, or this one. No delay at all. It's something on the computer, not the soundboard. I don't know what it is. When I don't use a soundboard for a while, for some reason, there's a delay. I don't understand it, which is why you guys can't see it. But I got my hand up here by the soundboard. Every once in a while, I'll actually tap the off button, which is a kill switch, to kind of prime it. Either that or I have to keep using it. Let's see. Lena says, did you know the Clone Wars walker had railguns? Yes, the 6-leg walker had what was known as a mass driver cannon, which was their fancy word of saying, yes, it was a fucking railgun. The top turret, the open turret where the guy was sitting out in the open so a sniper can freaking knock his head off, had a 100% fully ballistic cannon, which was a railgun. You are 100% right. Now, they actually got rid of that, and almost no other device they had actually was a strictly mass driver or railgun or whatever the hell you want to call it. Erica says, syntax, if it had been me, I would have laughed and said sorry and moved on. Then again, if you said you could see my butt floss, I would have been running away from public areas with a boiled lobster face. Oh, man. The only time I can get women to actually not do that whole whale tail bullshit is I'll go up and I'll just look at them. So say, can I borrow that floss? What? The floss. I need the floss. Can I borrow some of that? They'll look down. It's like, that's my underwear. No. I need to borrow some floss. And usually the thing is, their boyfriend is right there, usually laughing his ass off. One guy got a little pissy. He's like, are you hitting on her? I was like, no, I just wanted to freaking tuck her underwear away, dude, because seriously, there's little kids right here. One of them, and at that point, one of them was my niece. I'm like, my niece doesn't need to see this shit. So a little bit of conservatism is all I'm asking. Then he looked down, looked at me, looked at her, looked at me, looked at, back and forth. It's like he was trying to figure out what to say. And finally, he's like, yeah, you should put that away, honey. All she did was push with her thumb, push it below her belt line. That's all you had to do. Although I will say this, guys, don't try to do the bra snap with a sports bra. You'll just piss them off. It's too wide. And if you do one with one that's really small, you're probably going to rip the fucking thing. And then you owe them, I think the lowest I've ever seen was like $30 for a cheap one. Guys, just don't. Leonid's still talking Star Wars here. He says, it was a thesis based off of the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise. Why not? Ernest saying, Mech Warrior Artillery Sniper. There is such a thing. The Long Tom artillery piece. And also what's known nowadays as the Thumper Cannon. The Thumper Cannon has a much shorter range, but it's small enough to carry more ammo on a freaking battle mech. Usually a Long Tom attached to a battle mech has one shot, and that's it. It has to be reloaded every time, back wherever. That being said, and by the way, I'm just talking mostly Battletech here. If you go to some of the Mech Warrior games, the Long Tom, you can just, if you got room and you got mass, space, weight you can use. You can use the long tom artillery, which is overpowered as fuck, by the way, if you know how to use it. Which I thought was actually hilarious. It's one of those times, guys, I wish I could actually get the game to actually show up on here. Unfortunately, it would glitch like hell. I'm playing the, I think it was Mercenaries 4 or something like that. They had the long tom artillery piece. You know, this is way back like 20 years ago. And I wanted to see what the range was. So I cranked it up the whole way and I fired and I realized it had an exact range. So I figured out how far it was. And I'm literally, you get to take out the turrets without destroying the turrets. You either got to take out the tower or the little command center. I found out where it was. I got it within range, cranked it up, fired, and all of a sudden, all the batteries went down. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I can take out the barracks too from here. So all their battle mechs will now become mine. And here I am with this fucking armada of fucking mechs. By the time I was done, I'm like, holy flying monkey nuts. How in the hell? And sorry, guys, I'm trying not to sneeze. Anyway, if you're actually in mech on mech combat, you launch it, you got to judge it a little bit. You launch at their feet, and there's enough to actually blow both legs off. Again, salvage. And they're down before they even know what's going on, unless it's an assault mech. You know, light mechs will just blow up, so you won't get much off that. Okay, Demon says, I just realized one of the comments says Bloom's good. It was supposed to be looks good. I don't know what I was typing. God, I'm tired. Yeah, War Sniper saying he's only did 3 hours. And I am too awake for words. Yeah. No, Demon, you're probably not the only person lagging. See, Erica jumped in on that, said no. It happens to everybody, guys. You know I've done it. Sometimes I'll come on here, and it's a good thing I'm wearing glasses because that way you guys don't see the friggin' dark circles around my eyes. And no, it's not from me getting in a bar fight. It's just from being just tired as all fuck. Let's see. Alan says, no, YouTube is sour for me. I was really? Okay. In that case, I'm going to run through these and then we're probably going to end if YouTube's being that much of a dick. Let's see. Demon says, my YouTube's been acting up for sure. Hey, when you guys are done with this, okay, if your YouTube is acting up, go into your settings and see if there's an update needed. Okay. I had an update within the past 2 weeks. And it fixed a lot of things. Granted, after the update for the next day, your computer's going to be acting a little wonky, but just make sure you do all the updates because if they don't, there's a confliction in the programming. And yeah. Let's see. Lena says the M1A2, probably A3 now, Abrams is probably more advanced than a Scorpion tank. Yeah, the Scorpion was... Well, yes and no. They fire the same size projectile. The only difference is the Scorpion usually fires a more solid projectile instead of a heat round. You know, high explosive anti-tank. Now, if it has an auto loader, I'm sure you can choose what type of ammo. That being said, they both have a coax, which is the machine gun next to the barrel. The difference is the actual Scorpion tank, not the original, but other ones have the actual gunner in front, the actual bow gunner, which hasn't really been a thing since World War II. They found out that bow gunners were pretty much, there was no reason for them. They literally just sat there. And that was just another person taking up space that they could fill up with the fuel tank or more ammo or armor or something. But yeah, it really depends on how you look at it. Now, I will say this. The Scorpion tank has one major flaw. And that's the fact that if that turret is hit, it is going to be deflected so hard that most of the hydraulics, most of the pneumatics, most of the gears are going to be overly strained and you're probably going to have a dead gun. Also, there's a lot on that little little pivot point. That's a lot of stress. So unless it's made with something a hell of a lot stronger, I don't know. Oh, guards having problems too, huh? Shit. Oh, well, that actually explains a lot, guys. I'm glad you put that in. Next, hey, do me a small favor. Next time the stream is acting up at any time, you guys got to let me know right away. Because if the stream's acting up, then you guys aren't enjoying yourselves. And if you're not enjoying yourselves, then what the fuck are we doing here? I'm not going to drag you around. So, anyway. Oh, by the way, Erica, I just needed to do one thing before I say anything else. And as soon as you did the whole corset thing, I'm sorry, but
Swing!
there we go. I had to do that. Anyway, let's see. Leonid says, what do you think about space battleships doing broadside fire on both sides? I think it would be useful. Actually, in space battle, broadsides are almost never done. Broadsides are only done if you're trying to bring a whole bunch of fixed weapons to bear. However, space battleships, we'll use my remote controls of space battleship here. Okay, if you're going broadside, okay, front, back, if you're going at your enemy, are you going to drift at them sideways like this? Probably not. That's why you have turrets on the dorsal and ventral side as well as there. What you're going to do is you're actually going to turn it forward, and the very front of your battleship is going to be absolutely covered in fixed cannons. As in, you can't turn them unless you turn the ship itself. Now, anime, believe it or not, was the first ones to come up with this concept, and they did a very good job. I believe it was in the Gundam series where you see the very front of the ships and they're firing in sequence all the way down, just putting out this wave of fire. You got to remember, even with energy weapons at that distance, it's going to take several seconds to get there, which means people are going to be moving their ships around, which means you want to put out a wide net of fire so you can actually hit something. The idea of a precision shot at that range is laughable. You're going to need guided munitions and a hell of a lot of them at that point to even think about it. Now, if you want to do broadside someone, which again, in my stories, I've done several times, you have to jump into the fleet itself beforehand, before they have a chance to turn their bow turrets or their fixed munitions towards you. And you use your turrets to turn out and fire. And by the way, there's no left and right in space. There's no up or down. You want down, get a duck. You know, it's just, and you're firing in every direction with your turrets. That's why I keep saying turrets on everything. That was actually the premise behind one of the most famous ones I have. Turrets, a human thing. It was a human's obsession with turrets. Well, they work. That's why. And not to mention, including your bow turrets, while you're still going towards them, you're not only firing everything on the front, but your turrets on all four sides are firing as well. Which is, a lot of people don't realize, with the Nova-class Dreadnought from Babylon 5, if you notice, the turrets on the front could shift up and down, but they had to extend to go out. But they're so close that the turrets behind them they're superposed, so they could actually fire as well. If they had any decent range worth of dog shit, then they could have fired so many cannons at the enemy at the same time that the Minbari would have been like, oh, fuck me, and then just freaking booked it as fast as they could. They wouldn't want to be around that, because that was turrets on turrets. I mean, it was crazy. But as far as broadsides, the way you're thinking about it, no, when I saw that in the Star Wars, I'm just like, what? Because it didn't make a lick of sense to have cannons set up that way. Somebody watched a pirate movie before they came up with that scene so that they could do the whole thing. And again, I leave it off to them because, again, Star Wars is its own entity. It has its own physics. They don't make a lick of sense. So I just left it alone. It was a good scene, but as far as broadsides in space, wouldn't be done the way you're thinking. And you literally have to jump into their formation to get it to work. Let's see. Alan's saying sunspot activity on computer systems. Yes, you are right, Alan. There is a lot of sunspot activity right now. It is what supposedly that's what knocked out the system, the electrical system over there in Spain, Portugal, and parts of France. I personally think it was a cyber attack. Whatever. It could have been something just like the cascading failure we had here in the U.S. about 15 years ago that went from Ohio into New York. But the thing is, everything shut down in sequence to keep everything from burning out. It actually functioned the way it was supposed to. So it sounds to me like they got hit, something got overcooked, and the safety systems kicked in, and they were back up and running in a couple of hours. The same thing happened with us. Okay, Demon responded, he needs all the tails. I'm sure War Sniper does need all the tails. Fluffity fluff fluff, fluffity fluff fluff. Oh, shit, this thing jumped. Okay, for some reason, sorry guys, this thing jumped like hard. I'm trying to figure out where the hell I was at. All I see is something about popcorn. Oh, what the hell? You guys really were going on here. Let's see. Okay, there it is. Okay, Chris says the gyro ball could work if the ball was a ball that is moved by a shoulder pad type rigging, which has motors that spin the ball in guided directions, kind of like an old mouse with a ball. Okay, now you're talking a little different here. Okay. If I'm reading this correctly, yes, you're right. That would work. That being said, there's a lot of moving parts. So practicality speaking, I'm not going to even go into that. Could it possibly work on an alien landscape? It might be the best vehicle for the job. War Sniper says, just do my character with the 4 Kitsune females. They are pure part of the story of the healer with guns. At least partially, yeah. Let's see. Guard says, so I finally got my hands on the F-25 E5 and War Thunder. Pretty much got a copy paste. I hate solid shot. Yes, you can penetrate whoever you're shooting a lot better, but you got new explosive filler. Sniper saying, you can still use my dragon in other stories, considering my dragon can jump between dimensions, so use it as you like. Well, if he jumps dimensions, he might get a little altered. Let's see. Guard says, but hey, up next is a super Pershing. Okay, hey, Pershings are good. Yeah, that tank where if you shoot the 2 little canisters on the left side of its turret, you can completely destroy its hydraulics for lifting the barrel. Yeah, that's true. And he continues, because the guns are so damn large, you have to put the hydraulics to lift it outside the tank. Oh, man. Let's see. Erica says, many states are outlawing aerosol geoengineering. Yep. Also, wanking environment stuff is going on due to changing in currents in the Sherman resource or resonance. Yes, absolutely. There are certain people fucking with shit I don't think they even understand. Even somebody with the limited knowledge I have knows that there are certain things you do not want to fuck with. And that rebounding solar radiation is one of those things you really don't want to screw with. Okay. If there was a actual solar flare coming in and dropping a whole bunch of this toxic shit into the atmosphere is the only way to keep us from frying like a burrito, then I would say go ahead, we'll deal with it. But they're just throwing this stuff up like crazy, trying to like totally change the weather in the UK and stuff like that, trying to change weather patterns here in the US. I don't know what the hell they're thinking. I don't think they are thinking. I think they just got their head up their ass for the warmth or something. Maybe they're cold. They want to keep their ears warm. It's just, We've had a really screwed up spring so far already. I should have my garden already planted. We have a guy up the street make some of the best tomatoes you've ever seen. I'm not kidding, twice the size of a freaking softball every fucking year. He hasn't even turned his soil over yet. He is so far behind, so is everybody else. We got trees out front, my dad's fruit trees, that some of them didn't blossom at all. And we're talking about ones that we were pulling bushels off of one tree. He had multiple bushels off one tree. We actually ran out of buckets to load them up at one point. And I had just went and bought like 10 buckets. We had to go buy more. We were giving pears away literally by the bushel because we had so many we didn't know what to do with. And now there's nothing on that tree. And a lot of it, I'm sure, has to do with them fucking with the environment because they're so fucked up. They got all this money, they got all this power, and now they want to just like, oh, I want to screw everybody over. We're not going to like that. Let's see. Lena says, I think it killed me when I saw Samuel L. Jackson starring as Snow Yellow. I saw that meme. And I actually started laughing so hard, I farted. I was just like, oh my God, that was just hilarious. I sure hope Samuel L. Jackson does have a good sense of humor because holy shit. That was, I mean, it's disturbing. It was disturbing to look at, but still, it's just like, wow. Wow. Okay, to change the subject, Erica tells War Sniper, I'm much too jealous to be a good little harem girl. Okay, why not? War Sniper also says, Sin, just do the 3 main abilities my dragon has as black and blue highlights form, and it can turn human, true shape shifting. Yes, the stories I read and listen dragons can do that switch between dragon and human form. A lot of them can. Surprisingly, even in Eastern lore, they can do that. And those dragons didn't even have wings. They flew on frequency resonance. Let's see. But yeah, there might be something like that. I'm cooking, guys. Let my brain cook. Let's see. Guard says, I feel like probably the best choice for another reboot of Snow Yellow would be Terry Crews. You know, I'm not very good at the actors or actresses, so I don't know. All I know is it can't be Zegler, and she will live with this shame for the rest of her life because she thought she was untouchable, and life decided to walk up and just, you know what, I should put that slap thing on here because it's just crazy. I just looked for it and realized I didn't load it. So all I can say is...
It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
Yeah, she did fuck up. So... And when she started bitching and moaning, why are people treating me so bad? Cry me a river. See. Guard says, like by default, you just made the movie 10,000 times better than the current Snow Yellow. Anything makes it better than that. Although I can just see Samuel L. Jackson, I'm not sweeping up your place, motherfucker. Okay, let's see. War Sniper says, to Erica, in real life, you would have me to occupy... Okay, now you guys are really starting to get into it. Okay. Lenin says, have they made Call Girl in Another World yet? I'm waiting for this anime to be made. I don't think they would do that. However, there was one, I only saw it for the first, I think, 2 chapters that they made, and I never went back. It was a guy who was isekai'd as a potion maker. This guy has a thing about women who are extremely well endowed, but the whole idea of well endowed women in that world is the same way that most guys will look at women who are basically walking around with a pair of Tic Tacs taped to their chest. But he uses those potions to do some really funky stuff. I was laughing my butt off reading it. I'm just like, dude, nobody would think, yeah, actually every guy here would do that. You know, here, I'm going to make a potion to make my junk like 5 times bigger. Glug, glug, glug. Oh, here's the potion that does that right now. I actually finished that shit off. But yeah, Call Girl in Another World. Seriously, I don't know. That would be pretty short because all she'd end up doing is seduce the king. Let's see. Chris says if Erica used a summoning circle, she would summon War Sniper, a Demon Lord, and a Pokemon Jigglypuff. She would totally. I'm reading it, guys, and I can't stop laughing. Okay, Chris, that was funny. That is just funny. Let me see if I can get through this. If Erica used a summoning circle, she would summon War Sniper, a Demon Lord, and a Pokemon Jigglypuff. She would totally Sharpie War Sniper's face with Jigglypuff's mustache. The visuals on that alone are just wow. Yeah. Holy shit. Oh man. That's funny. Oh man. Oh shit. That was good. I needed that laugh, guys. Thank you so much for that. Especially from Chris. Thank you. And there's Eric saying, hello, everybody. Everybody's saying hi in the chat. Ernest says, your story sounds great. Do it. You know, the kicker is for that fantasy one I told you about the summoning circles, just the summoning of those 3. That's at minimum, bare minimum, 6 chapters. I'm going to say that one again, bare minimum, because you'd need the setup chapter. You would need the chapter where the succubus is actually summoned and all the shenanigans that had come after that. There'd have to be how the surrounding village / town, city, whatever, deals with a young succubus walking around and how he's got to be very protective because everybody's going to be out for her tail, literally. Then you got the summoning of the phoenix and everything that happens with that. Then you have the inquiry that goes along with that and everybody trying to figure out and him trying to hide his new abilities, even though now he has a second personality that sometimes talks in his ear, you know, and all that. Then you have the summoning of the dragon and the subsequent running into the woods and then survival in the woods. Then when everything starts to get seriously dark, that's not, what would that count off? Like 7 or 8 right there? That's a month's worth of work on that one. That's the only reason I haven't done it. And the fact that the majority of listeners listen for science fiction. And don't get me wrong, I've done my share of fantasy stories, guys. If you are listening and you have not gone into the fantasy ones that are labeled like fantasy or creepypasta or stuff like that in the playlists, go ahead and give them a listen. I haven't touched those in a while, so the audio might be a little off. There's no sound effects. But, you know, it is what it is. Because originally this was supposed to be a horror channel. Horror and creepy stuff. And it changed. Anyway. Let's see. Guard says, and wait, what's the name of the manga you were talking about with the 3 summoning stuff? Or is that a story? No, that's mine. I kind of walked out right the part where you said his second summon was a phoenix. Yeah. And it says, well, I walked up before that, but came back and you mentioned the phoenix. Okay. Yeah, that one, that's strictly from me. Now the kicker is somebody might be listening and go, oh, this is a good one. I'm going to write this first. Trust me, there's so much more in the setup that has to be done exactly right. I friggin' busted my brain for a while because I couldn't get it out of my head. I'm literally on the treadmill, and I didn't realize the timer ran out, and I went forward and smashed my guts against the friggin' bar because I was like, oh, shit. Oh, sorry, my brain was somewhere else. Demon, you're being summoned. Oh, there he goes. You know, it'd be funny if you. I'm sorry. It would just be funny if you summoned a demon while they were taking a shit. I mean, that's just funny. Could you imagine how pissed off a demon would be if they're like got a log halfway out and all of a sudden they got summoned? What the hell, man? You couldn't wait till I wiped at least? What the fuck? Let's see. Chris says, because Erica needs someone to eat popcorn while she and Jigglypuff draw on War Sniper's face when he falls asleep. I do like popcorn. I like turtles. Okay. War Sniper, don't bring her on ideas. Okay. I'm going to let you guys know that back in the Army, now this is actually something we're not supposed to do anymore, but we used to take Sharpies and was known as inking someone. And if you put a swipe on the side of their neck, or if you could go all the way across the neck, preferably with a red Sharpie. The reason being is that it was indelible ink, and it took a couple weeks for that shit to come off. And I was in West Point training cadets. I was in the middle of the patrol base. Now, what I didn't know is the officer wanted to see if these guys were paying attention. So he gave the opposition force, or Op 4, the password to actually get in the patrol base. Now, picture, if you will, I'm the only one underneath a poncho liner. I'm the only one with an assault pack. I'm the only one with his boots off. And I feel this hand reach up and pull this shit off my face. I remember reaching up. I distinctly went like this because that's the way I was taught. You reach up, grab their wrist, and then you have to brace yours because they've got the leverage. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing? And all I heard was a whisper go, just go with it. I'm like, who do you fucking think this is? Oh, you're just a trainee. No, I'm not. And I shoved it back. I swear I caught him in the throat. Pushed it back and said, it's Sergeant. And I told him who I was, and I'm screaming. I'm like, enemy in the wire, enemy in the wire. And I'm thinking these guys are going to turn around and beat the Op 4's ass. And all of a sudden, they just kind of stood there. Durr. I'm like, okay, you guys are worthless as hen shit on a fence post. What the fuck? Screaming at the Op 4 to get the fuck out of there is crazy. Just go with it. Give me a break. I found out who it was later, too. Got a hold of his squad leader and said, don't ever send me your guys ever again. You've lost all respect from me and the rest of my company. Oh, dude, don't be an asshole. Next thing I know, here comes the first sergeant. I was like, what the hell happened out there? His guys tried to ink me. They what? I was like, oh, shit. Anyway, let's see. Over here, we got Erica talking to Chris. Summoning demons, no. I've had too many things happen to me to do that one. Even I, what, Eevee? I don't know what that one is. Would be my Pokemon of choice. A ghost evolution would be my favorite, but they haven't had it. Okay. I did one Pokemon story, and it was such a fucking flop, I never did it again. Maybe I should have actually put something dangerous on there instead of something cute. But the whole idea was reality shifted because somebody fucked up their experiment with a Hadron Collider, and the Pokemon actually became a thing. But they're wild, which means they have all their abilities, and they're some dangerous creatures. Like, seriously dangerous. You could be walking around with a Barrett 50 cal, and you still have a very slim chance of survival. Let's see. War Sniper says, I know for sure Erica would do it. Then he said, no popcorn for me. Yeah. Let's see. War Sniper says, changing herself in a Kitsune pure to catch my attention. Oh, would purely catch your attention. Okay. I would think so. You know, seeing that tail fluffing about. The only major problem with doing that to your body is the very first people that do it, you're going to have a lot of kids coming up, grabbing the tail and pulling it thinking it's fake. And you're going to have a lot of guys walking by you, just like they do when women have those cat outfits, grabbing the tail and pulling it off. Now, there's a very infamous video of they're in Vegas and some guy does this, and that tail's not actually attached to the outfit. It was, the end of it was inserted somewhere. And he's holding it up like a trophy, and there's the metal piece just dangling. And I'm just like, holy shit. That's funny. Of course, the lady said, ow, of course. You're not supposed to just pull those things out real fast, especially when no one's paying attention. But yeah, that would be the big problem is people wanting to do that. And of course, dogs constantly trying to sniff your ass. Let's see. Chris says, I was thinking more like 9 tails for you, but Jigglypuff is just fun. Guardian Sage doing his initial greeting, mortals and other assorted beings. Sorry I'm late. Was driving from Amish country. Finally, on my way home. Demon says, most of my favorites are water type Pokemon, but I do like Ninetales. Okay. just might break my demon summoning just to do that. Okay, wow. Yeah, I don't know if you guys noticed, but there's actually one meme I put on when every once in a while for SS Demon, and it actually has girls saying, "Oh, that was fun using the Ouija board. Let's do it again." You know, girls at a sleepover, guys at a sleepover, they're all in friggin' helmets and stuff like that, and they're shooting at one of these demons. Like, where are all these demons coming from? Let's see, where was I here? Okay. Okay. Warstorm said, I'd expect Erica teasing me with her tails. And maybe popcorn, apparently, says Demon. Lena says, I don't know how that works atomically. Animal ears on a human skull, you need to have one pair of ears. Notice how they don't show their scalp under their hair. Yeah, because it actually is open there. A lot of people don't realize there's an opening in like a cat's skull where if you wanted to, you could shove your, well, not your finger, but maybe a pen straight into the skull. It's really, really messed up. But they have shown in other animes where this has happened, where you have some a female with human ears and animal ears at the same time. And they kind of played it off as kind of a joke saying, well, apparently the god of this world has a thing for ears. Why not? I don't know which anime that was. That was years ago. I just thought it was a funny line. What did I miss here? Yeah. Yes, that would make a funny story. That would actually. I don't know if she's going to cosplay as a Kitsune once she can actually turn into one. That's going to be one of the more interesting parts when they finally release the CRISPR program stuff, is people actually walking around in different forms. Now, granted, a lot of people are going to change only slight things about themselves. Some things that are going to be honestly horrifying when they finally drop their pants. But, you know, it is what it is. I don't need to be one of those guys. I don't need to be the guy from the crying game. No, thank you. No, thank you. Let's see. Demon says, my favorite Pokemon of all time is Magikarp. Just had to share it. I don't know what that is. I was never into Pokemon ever. I did enough research to do that one story. The closest I ever got was we played I don't know, it wasn't even Pokemon. I seen a Pokemon deck once, and I skimmed through it because one guy wanted me to play. I'm like, I don't understand these rules, and you're just going to mop the floor with me. So, yeah, let's play something else. Erica says, I would like to see myself as a Nico and Kitsune before I make my selection. Oh, I'm sure they could actually show, like the Star Trek, show a holographic image of what you would actually be. Demon wanting to know, am I getting a popcorn or not? I'm so confused. That's pretty good. War Sniper says, my favorite Pokemon is Reshiram. I'm a dragon Pokemon player. Yeah. Shocking absolutely no one. I mean, you know what I got to get on here? I need a button that says, well, no, duh. You know, this, you know what? I don't have anything that fits that. Let's see. War Sniper saying, I'm totally cool with salted popcorn. And Steven's here. Yay, finally made it good. Yay. Lena says, I'm okay. Got a good connection. Okay, so it's only a few folks. It kind of irks me when you guys don't get a good connection. It is what it is. Demon says, I've never been summoned before. I don't know what to draw. Okay, why not? Yeah, War Sniper wants to see Erica as a Miko search heart. Okay, that's not English. Hirumi of Heavenly Incense. I think Hirumi is Japanese, isn't it? Anyway, he also says to SS Demons, Erica as a 5-tailed Kitsune and a black dragon laying behind, letting her lay her back against his flank. Okay. See, Doe says, sorry, had to go offline for a bit. Video is getting choppy and my back is hurting some. Oh, fuck. Muscle or skeletal? Depending on where in the back with musculature, I might have a stretch that'll help. But it really depends on where. If it's skeletal, there's only a few things I could do, but you need an extra person to help you out. Yeah. See, Demon said, I better see popcorn there. I was promised popcorn, man. See. War Sniper, me as a sleeping dragon. Ugh. Yeah, it is the Z's, War Sniper. I don't know where. I saw the S and I kind of went,
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
and I was like, okay. And then I saw you fixed it. Okay. Chris saying, I'll bring the popcorn maker. I've got one of those on got one on wheels that you see at the fairs. Yeah, my dad has one that sits on a shelf. It's a smaller version of the same thing. The only thing is I get on his case about using any type of like canola oil because I can't eat that stuff anymore. To me, honestly, it's like licking an engine. It's just the chemicals in that are just, when you eat clean, you taste that stuff. And it's just, no. If he uses olive oil, it's not that bad. You're actually supposed to use lard of all things. But most people don't. And if you don't use anything else, butter, just straight up butter. And see, Demon says, the white chocolate peanut butter cups are my favorite name brand candy. I'll be happy for those too. Well, good. You can have them. I haven't really had any of that stuff in a long time. And they, honestly, they spin my stomach in new and frightening ways. Let's see. Yep, everybody's saying hi to him. Let's see. Wait, I thought Erica was on the Discord. Yeah, maybe I'm off. Oh, sir tried to put a message in. Sir, I didn't get it. I see you saying hi to everybody. And for some reason, this thing jumped really high. I mean, this thing jumped a long way. I don't know what the fuck is going on with this thing right now. Anyway, I see a lot of popcorn here. Let me scroll. And I'm still scrolling up. Good God. You guys have been active. Let's see. Guard says the only time broadsides really work in space fiction is if it's 40K, because like 90% of the factions prefer to straight up brawl with each other and are usually so damn close. I'll buy that for $1 for sure. Demon says I took 2 days off of work because I had stuff to do, and now I really don't want to go back tonight. Well, who the hell wants to go back to work? Lenon's ships that can only fire their guns at the front are kind of boring. It's space combat. With that type of distance, it's just like, well, look at the modern destroyers nowadays. They're almost all missiles. It takes 30 seconds to like 5 minutes for them to hit their targets, sometimes even longer. You drop off a rapid dragon out of the back of a C-17, it's going to take actually almost an hour for them to actually strike their target at max range. I mean, the more distance you get, the boring it's going to get. And
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
something is actually right, because Guardian Sage is here, the guardian of all things. It says, my favorite Pokemon tend to be the more human-like ones, like Gardevoir, Delphox, and Blaziken. I've heard of the first one. Only because, let's face it, who hasn't? It was the first humanoid one they had, and everyone immediately did a Rule 34 on it. I mean, seriously. I mean, it's so bad that when I was doing my research, you can't help but stumble across. You do a simple image search for that, and you'll find that crap. And you're not even trying to look for with any of the special keywords you would think for that. It's just there. And I'm like, come on, guys. Ow. But yeah, thank you very much, Guard. I appreciate that. And I wish I had more to say, but I don't know what a Delphox or a Blaziken is. Again, it's well past my time on that. Let's see. Guard says that if they fired a boarding torpedo, it would probably take like 30 seconds before impact of the other ship. It would be like that scene from Transformers: Fall of Cybertron. I don't remember seeing that. And honestly, I stopped watching the Transformers movies after I seen how badly they fucked up Ravage. Ravage was not a Cyclops. I'm sorry, no. But still, standing up and going, Ravage, bad kitty, was enough that everybody laughed. Let's see. Guard says the Ark and the Decepticon warship were so damn close to each other, they were literally firing boarding tendrils into the other's ship. Tethers, not tendrils. I'm sure they might have called it something else, but that's what it actually was. But yeah, it's... now, if it's an actual tube, it's an umbilical. I do have to say that a lot of these have very specific names because they have very specific purposes. Oh, there's Erica talking about how she's going to draw with a hot pink Sharpie. Ha ha. Demon saying, I really need to finish my AI story civilization thing. So, and you know what? I really wish I had saved it because somebody made this really, really nice video. I think they used ChatGPT for it. But it was all about the working together of emerging AI and humanity to bring a brighter future to both. And it was just really well done. All the video stuff was done by ChatGPT. And it seemed to do a pretty good job of it. Like I said, it's going to be hard to keep up with these. Let's see. Lena says, I think cruisers can defend battleships because they will go to the front of them. Actually, if you're talking about smaller enemies, a lot of these battleships are going to be covered in PDCs. And the reason for a battleship is to actually do the slug mash like we're talking about, to put out a shit ton of fire. But they're not going to have secondary, they're not going to have tertiary weapons. They're going to go from their main cannons straight to PDC. The only difference between a battleship and a dreadnought is a dreadnought is designed to just be not only a little bit bigger, but carry at least one planet-destroying weapon, or at least continent-destroying weapon. Something that's really going to make your day suck so fast. And, oh, by the way, sir, since you're here, did you look up the stuff that I sent you that I put on the last live stream? I just want to know how it's working out. Worst number says, saying you can nerf my dragon to its 3 core abilities so that he has human dragon form so long as he holds the personality and colors of the form same and it's good. Okay. Chris says, the underground city, they spent 21 trillion on its location at the Denver airport. Yeah, they're not even done. I don't know if you know about this, but they're still digging stuff out. I mean, they're trying to get so deep with this thing. I'm like, are you trying to hit the core of this planet? That's not a smart idea. You know, you go too far down, you can hit the lizard people, and then you're really going to be in trouble. Let's see. Demon says, you were just reminding me of when I had to mow the lawn last Friday. Every time I had time to mow the lawn, it rained, so that shit got a foot tall and took hours to mow. It's pretty bad out here, too. It's got to get done. I got to get the weed whacker out and knock a bunch of stuff down. Let's see. Chris says, I don't want to think about my yard. I'm going to pay a crackhead to do it. Yeah, good luck. Probably like dealing with my nephew. Unless he was having fun doing something he didn't want to do. He's getting better now, but, you know, when he was younger, it was bad. Let's see. Demon says, I've seen many married men to... Oh, I've seen too many married men to ever want a harem. One is more... Oh, I haven't seen many married men ever want a harem. One is more than enough for them. A lot of times, yeah. Now, as someone who's had to write that type of fiction, believe it or not, you know what the normal number for a max for a guy, and when they want that stuff written, is 3. That's it. 3. When it came to women who wanted that sort of like the reverse harem, no joke, 5. That was the normal number, or I should say the usual number that came up for love interest. And I'm just like, wow, you got to be kidding me. How's that going to work? And then, of course, I think about it for a second. I go, holy shit. Okay, I'm going to get very descriptive. Okay, Worst Number says, gives Erica a kiss on her forehead and stays silent. Let's see. Guard says, Terry Crews is the black guy who starred in all those Old Spice commercials. Yeah, he's apparently his beliefs and everything don't work in Hollywood, and they're trying to, like, they forced him out pretty much. I think he was in the Expendables too. Worst Number, I'll let my actions do the talking. Yeah, it's a good way to get kicked in the nuts. Be careful. Erica saying, it's so sweet. Waiting for you to look in the mirror. Yep. As long as it's not, you know, just one solid mustache right under the nose, that might be a little more embarrassing. Erica says, in my defense, the Demon Lord was by accident. And pouting. Unless it's the Demon Lord from another world. That was a really goofy anime. I unfortunately got like maybe 3 in, or 3 episodes in. I was just like, well, this is going to be a harem one. And they got the literally opposites. Everything's opposite with the first 2 girls. Which is how it goes ever since they had the original Tenchi with Ryoko and fuck, I can't even remember her name. Akane or something? I don't Let's see. SSD. I still don't know how you did it. Neither do I. Okay. Boris never says, looks to my wing, sees that Erica, what's done, looks at Erica like this, jumps into the water to get rid of the paint and get my true colors back, comes back to dry and continues to sleep. Okay. Oh, my beautiful artwork is gone. Do it again while he passes out. Just don't forget to put the penis on his forehead. Demon says, I could use a nap, but I do need to get ready for work instead. Got to leave in 35 minutes. Oh, boy. Worse never. Don't use me as paper. But dragon wings have been known to feel like tissue paper. So, yeah, Erica's right. It's a bigger canvas, a much bigger canvas. She can go wild. She can drip things all over you, turn you into one of those Pollock paintings that honestly don't make any sense. Okay, yeah, I missed that before. War Center. That's what you're a much bigger target. That's what she said. Okay, but still use paper paint. Paint me pink. I don't care, but don't paint on me. Yeah, well, Sharpies don't come off even off scales. Don't ask me how I know that. Fills water gun with pink paint and hands it to Erica, then walks away. Yeah, I know where you're going. Erica wallpaper him, then paint on him. Maniacal laugh. Maniacal laugh. Steve says, I still want robot Everclear with popcorn would be good. Okay, I'm not much of a drinker, so I'm not going to touch the Everclear. Yeah, you're not going to escape. She's gonna get you. She's going to get you on that. Let's see. Lena says, Pokemon with guns is a different game. Nintendo will actually try to go against you. No. The premise of that story, Leonid, was if Pokemon most of them are exceptionally dangerous creatures. I mean, you got a little rat that's this color that can shoot lightning bolts out his butthole. I mean, it's scary, and it can do it at will, and it never really tires out much. And if it wants, it can send out an EMP shockwave that's going to basically fry not only the electrical systems of your phone and everything, but the electrical systems of your body. So, yeah, it's kind of dangerous. And there's a lot of others that do the same thing. You got a turtle with cannons on its shoulders that can fire water at such high speed it can cut through titanium like it's nothing. Dangerous shit. Plus, you got these female-looking Pokemons that are going to make you hesitant to shoot. Yet they have some sort of psychic ability that'll scramble your fucking brains. Dangerous things. And all you got's one projectile weapon? Yeah. Let's see. Alan says, serves you for all the maid thought, Sniper. Yeah, there you go. Yep, there you go. Alan got you. He got you. Guardian, I've seen ads for the game. It's not actually Pokemon, but rather a knockoff version. Powell World. Okay, you got me. Let's see. Leonid says, Ruby had 2 pairs of ears, sometimes a tail or other animal parts attached to a humanoid. Okay, I haven't seen the Ruby one. I personally don't care to watch it. I don't know. Something about the way it's drawn kind of turns me off. Okay, hold on. This thing jumped again. War Sniper says, I look at Erica through choosing my options and look at Erica deeper in the eyes with my sapphire blue eyes and smile dominantly and disappear for a short moment, then appear too close for Erica to use the gun and kiss her on the mouth, overwhelming her, making her defenseless. You got to be careful on that because you sneak up on a woman like that, she'll kick. Don't ask me how I know that. He continues, and smile. You have to try better and act faster. And then goes off. Okay. Douglas says skeletal and musculature. Oh, fuck. from the I-4 and I-5 not having bones to dude, I got nothing. I thought I might have something for you. I got absolutely nothing for that. Okay, you need somebody with a lot more knowledge than I do. Okay, changing the subject here. Guard says Metro 2033 is generally a fun game. I'll take your word for it. Like they rigged up so much stuff. You got a quad barrel, double barrel, where each pull the trigger fires 4 barrels on one side, then fires 2 barrels on the other. So basically, it's like the Doom 4-barrel shotgun. Why not? Demon apparently loves them. Erica says, how do I get out of those holes? On a 1 to 10 level of ouch, what levels would you like? Got to remember, she's also Kitsune. She got claws and fangs. And most dragons are very, very sensitive on the nostrils. So, yeah. Let's see. Guard says, I got all 3 of the games and DLCs for like $20. Well, that's pretty good. Most games you can't get for $20. Oh, Steve's out of here. Gotta go. See ya. See you later, Steve. War Sniper, what about give me a good challenge? Okay. I go after you with rope and hog tie you down. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I know the role playing. I know what you guys are doing. You have me read all this. Chris is out of here. He's got to run. And, okay, not much left here. And, yep, everybody's saying see you later. See ya. Have a good one. 18 minutes behind you. Yeah, looks like everybody's just about ready to go. I'm going to run through these real quick. I'm not going to read the War Sniper and Erica stuff anymore because it's, I mean, you guys are getting a little much. Alina says, yeah, I know that Nurse Joy is Pokemon. I'm assuming Nurse Joy isn't an actual, like, animal-looking Pokemon. I'm assuming this is a human-looking something. Yeah, you guys continue that in the Discord there, War Sniper. You guys getting really weird. Demon says, Nurse Joy and Officer Penny, the massive family of identical, however many there are. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what to say on that one. Okay, Lena says Dreadnought is just an outdated battleship, but for some reason science fiction likes to use them. And Erica's right. Dreadnoughts are fun to say, especially since it literally translates to no fear. Now, originally, a Dreadnought, yeah, was what we would consider a battleship nowadays. However, Dreadnoughts were actually overgunned for their size. The USS Texas is a perfect example of this. They still had weapons specifically set up for broadsides. However, they were able to maneuver a little bit. So you could, in theory, see the enemy on the horizon, not worry about actually going broadside to broadside like everybody tries to do, but actually driving straight into the enemy. It was designed actually to go through the formation as fast as possible, firing its main guns, zigzagging through, taking the hits. And as it passed by, its rear weapons were already primed and ready, and they would just start lighting you up. And as you're going through the formation, those broadside weapons are just going to start chewing into everybody's either bow or stern on the way through and totally fucking their world up. That's what a dreadnought was originally meant to be. Now, in science fiction, a dreadnought is literally meant to be right between a battleship and a Titan class. And the reason it doesn't fall into carriers because it has too many weapons. Carriers are strictly for carrying things and usually for actually invasion. They're not for much else. Reason being is because hard science fiction, especially, they just don't work anywhere else. Dreadnoughts are literally something you barely have of, and you take them in there because they have the biggest freaking weapons, and they're designed to go through any shielding there is. Even in Star Wars, the number of dreadnoughts they actually have is very, very low. I think the Empire only had like maybe a dozen of them, and this is an Empire that has like 12,000 freaking Star Destroyers, which, by the way, are battleships. But these dreadnoughts are designed to be able to take out a Star Destroyer in one shot. Let's see. Guardian City says, if any of you have read the Lost Fleet series by Jack Campbell, then you have an idea of what realistic space combat would be like with ships traveling at speeds up to 0.2 speed of light. Yeah, I've read a bunch of these books. I don't know if I read that one, but yeah, actual hard science fiction. Again, unless you're pulling a Star Trek and jumping in right next to somebody, the whole idea of a broadside is lost. I mean, hell, even in Babylon 5, when they had their Nova-class dreadnought, they almost never got close enough to broadside anybody. They could still bring a shit ton of fun to the party. They couldn't hit anything, but they brought a lot of fun to the party. But, so, whoa, shit. I hate when this thing jumps. Let's see. Oh, there's that. Yeah, it sounds really familiar, Demon says. Let's see. Demon says, Sin, I'm going to email you a YouTube video about Maggie Carp, and that video is the main reason why it's my favorite Pokemon. I'll post it in Discord, too. You know I'm terrible for going to the Discord. I just run out of time. I barely even get a chance to go through my emails. Yeah, you guys are really, really playing into this War Sniper. You guys are all over this one here. Yeah, that's I didn't actually set up the Discord myself. Somebody else set it up. Demon says, I'm surprised that posted. It's never done that before. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know how else to say it, but it's just weird. Sometimes it'll allow you to do things. Sometimes it won't. It's just, yeah. I don't have the Discord link available right now. And again, I didn't set it up. So I'm not sure I can actually, I'm not the host of it. So, I mean, it is what it is. But you're right. I really should. If I didn't have so many irons in the fire, I probably would. But, you know, we're there. And by the way, guys, we've been going for almost 2.5 hours, and my throat is killing me right now. All that back and forth between War Sniper and Erica. You know, you guys are going. Let's see. Even Demon says, I got to leave for work now, so bye. Ava set up all the others. Set it up, but others can invite to it. Okay. Yep. So, yeah, I'm going to have to take my time off and
Relax. I'd rather not piss this thing off.
Especially when I'm in sleep, because sometimes I have the not so fun dreams. Anyway, before we go, make sure you hit the like, guys. I'd appreciate it very, very much. And, you know, I'd hit general quarters, but I really don't want to do that because we have people in the house. I don't want to freak out. Let's see. Okay, you guys are just talking about the server. Okay. So anyway, since we've been going so long and I'm finally at the bottom of all these comments, I hope you guys enjoyed your time here, and I am going to start the safety brief. Remember, if you drink, you don't drive. If you drive, you don't drink. Everybody wants to drink and drive. Feel free to beat them into the fucking ground. It's better to explain to the police why you gave your buddy a bloody nose than it is to tell their wife they ain't never coming home. All right. Make sure if your little soldier goes in the bush, make sure he wears his poncho. You know, I'm sure he's going to be ready to go in as soon as he sees that corset, but we'll see how it goes. Make sure you guys, you know, I'm sure if you want to partake in something stronger than alcohol, you know what, you guys seem too smart for that. So I'm just going to leave that one alone. Just be smart. Aside from that, guys, I don't have anything to send you off with over here. I haven't been able to update my soundboard very much, but take care of yourselves, everybody. And I'm sure a few of you are going to be going in, you know, trying to take a nap if somebody can actually get their back to calm down. And they're looking over at somebody saying, the button didn't actually work. Why doesn't this freaking thing work? What the hell is wrong with my soundboard? I had this all set up and didn't want to work. Son of a bitch. Okay, whatever. So anyway, just remember, if you guys have a story idea, if you guys have a script, yes, I will be waking you when I need you. If you have anything like that, if you need to tell me something offline or what have you, again, down in the Meat Gazer box down there in the description, there is an email. You guys can get a hold of me. I'm bad at checking emails, so it might take a couple of days before I get back to you. So this is I'm gonna call it, guys, because it is getting a little late. So take care of yourselves, everybody. Remember, you got the young critters on the road. So when you're driving, if you see one critter, there's probably another. Please slow down because I want to see you all here next week on Syntax Live. Take care of yourselves, everybody. And this is your host trying board to work. And I swear, once it goes, I'm out. But it's just not working, you son of a bitch. I don't know why it does. Some of them work, some of them don't. And I keep nudging the damn camera. Okay, guys.
Ejecting pilot.